Welcome to the Rundown. My name is Ryan.
My name is Ray. My name is Ray.
I was really hoping we wouldn't have to do this episode, but we do, because, a lot happened in the NFL this past week, and we really should talk about it, because that is the main story that's happening right now.
Yeah, there was no big news in basketball. No team broke a championship drought this last week. So many other topics that we need to talk on and focus on.
Well, let's get this out of the way, at least on my end.
Oh my God.
I've repeatedly said from the start of this podcast to now that it was not the year of the Knicks. And I was wrong, because it was. So, won't apologize for the hate. I'm still feeling some of those feelings, a lot of those feelings, let's be really honest. But I can admit when I was wrong, and I was wrong. So, congratulations to the Knicks on ending their drought. I'd just like to point out that you have 3 championships and the Celtics have 18, but okay.
That's what we got to fall back on.
That's
what we got to fall back on.
Ray, I think my biggest problem with talking about this series is that the Spurs just died. They led in individual games. They led for so many of those games. And then they died, and the Knicks thankfully just took advantage. So I don't want to say that the Knicks didn't earn it, but do you know what I'm saying? It just feels like a complete missed opportunity from the Spurs. I think that's my biggest, and I know I'm going to piss a lot of people off with that comment, but it's true. The Spurs fucked that up in a very epic way. And, the Knicks were smart enough to take advantage of the screw-ups. So, I'm so upset. I'm so upset that it at least didn't go to 7. I think if it went to 7 games and the Knicks ended up winning, I think I'd feel better about it. But also, was it just me, or did it feel like Groundhog Day, where 4 out of those 5 games felt like I was watching the same game over and over again? Leading, and I even said that to you in game 5. I was like, I don't trust this lead. I'll trust this lead when it's 20 points up and 2 minutes to go. That's when I'll trust it. But no, yeah.
Ryan. I'm a man of many words. I normally don't struggle trying to figure out what to say, but I just never thought that I'd end up here.
Yeah.
In 2026, announcing that the New York Knicks are NBA champions. It's not easy. Those words were not easy to get out.
No.
But moreover, on your point, Wemby actually had a quote that most times, and this is post game, most times I probably would have killed a player for saying this after losing in 5, a gentleman's sweep, because that's what it was, right? But Wemby said after the game, we dominated this series. He's not fucking wrong.
He is not wrong.
He's not wrong at all. The Spurs controlled every single game of this series.
They did?
Until it mattered most.
Yep.
Until it mattered most. They had a double-digit lead in every single game of this series. They had a double-digit lead in every single first quarter of this series. And it got to the point, so let's just start game 4, right? Because we haven't talked game 4, and just what a fucking collapse. What an absolute terrible. I believe the Spurs were up 29 points at one point in the third quarter, in the second half of that game. And the Knicks, they got it to 20, and I really wasn't nervous at all. And then you got to 15, and I'm like, all right, well, this was their run. The Spurs will come back and they'll get it up to 20, 25, and this will be out of reach. And then it got to 10, and then lower and lower, and it just I was honestly speechless watching that game. Like I
Yeah.
had no reaction to plays. I had no words. I'm just literally speechless watching this game and watching the Spurs collapse on national television in front of the world. And I
Yep.
just can we take a minute to talk about the De'Aaron Fox of it all?
We can, but I just want to say before we launch into that I did quote Kevin Garnett, and I did say that anything was possible on the podcast last week, and that was not what I meant. I did not mean to invoke him for
well, the Knicks took that and ran with it.
They did.
The Knicks took that and ran with it.
You know, never again. I'll keep that thought to myself. But Fox, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the utter and complete fucking failure that was Fox on the court. Had some shots.
You know what?
But
yep. I'll give him credit in game 3. We talked about this. He struggled badly in game 3. He was missing all games. He was missing shots all game until under a minute left. He hit a huge floater to give the Spurs the cushion they needed to win that game. So I gave him credit for that shot. That was a big time shot and eventually really led to the only victory that they got in this series, right? And then you got game 4, right? Game 4, he had 18 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, but shot 6 for 16 from the field and shot them out of that game. Right? Not just in game 4, but also in game 5, but we're still focusing on game 4. So I'm just going to stay there with that collapse, but he absolutely shot them out of that game. Every time he put a shot up, I was like, no, please. Anyone else
like Fox.
We talked last time on the podcast about what a stud Dylan Harper has been. And I mean, really all season, but just on the national landscape, just watching him throughout these playoffs, he has been like a revelation for me, right? I don't watch Spurs games, so I haven't been able to see Dylan Harper's progress this year, but watching him in the finals and watching him in the playoffs leading up to the finals and then seeing what De'Aaron Fox did throughout these finals, why was Harper not starting? Why was he not the starting point guard? He clearly was the better player for the Spurs throughout this series. And I understand like Fox did help the Spurs get to the finals before they had De'Aaron Fox last year. This was not a playoff team. This was not a finals bound team. I understand that. But one of the reasons they went out and got De'Aaron Fox was to make sure that Wemby had that Robin when it mattered most.
Didn't happen.
Listen. And it only got worse in game 5.
Oh my God.
Game 5, 3 of 15 from the field, 7 points. 7 points. So for the series, he shot 34% from the field and 25% from 3. He went 7 of 28 from 3 for the series. Just a bad series. And then, right, how could I forget to mention this? Because this is really the reason I was so upset at De'Aaron Fox. So about 15 seconds left in game 4, the huge collapse,
oh my
right?
God.
The Spurs get the steal with about 14 seconds left. They're up 1 point. What do you do in that situation? You hold on to the ball. You make the Knicks foul you. The clock is on your side. You have the lead. There's no reason to shoot the ball. Fox goes up for a layup, gets blocked. Knicks get the ball back. The rest is history. For somebody that's been in the league as long as De'Aaron Fox has been in the league, that is completely fucking unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. You have to have clock awareness there. You have to have situational awareness there. You have to know you do not shoot that ball. I don't care where you are on the court. You do not. You have 2 defenders on you. 2 defenders on you. He was right under the rim, but you dribble that ball back out to the 3-point line and you either get fouled or you get it to somebody else that's going to make some big free throws. And then you see how the game plays out from there.
Yeah.
But shooting, turnovers, and then that just complete, just dumb play on that final possession there for the Spurs. I have no words. I really don't. Now, this was not solely on De'Aaron Fox, but if I'm looking at somebody, if we got to point at one player that really cost the Spurs this series, I mean, where else are we looking? Seriously.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything that bad since LeBron, like, begging J.R. Smith to look at the fucking clock. Like that, it's that level. Like the whole meme of just like, look and awareness, please.
Awareness, my God.
You know, and I think the thing is like that whole conversation about that team being so young and that Fox being that veteran is supposed to steady that. I would have picked Harper to start over him in a heartbeat. I mean, listen, and Harper missed some free throws that, you know, I wish he could have made, but you know what? I'm willing to give the kid a pass.
Yeah, he's 20.
He was 20. He played responsibly. I felt he was in it the entire time, very focused.
Hit big shots throughout the series.
He did.
Very poised.
Yeah. And I just wish that they would have done better. I mean, you know, and Fox is not the whole, obviously is not the whole problem. Castle was a big problem in the last game. I don't even know how many points he had, but it was like next to nothing.
I know at one point he was like 0 for 7 or 0 for 8 from the field before he finally made his first shot. No, Stephon Castle didn't have a great game, but one thing that Stephon Castle did give you throughout this series was amazing defense on Jalen Brunson.
Yeah.
Amazing defense on Jalen Brunson.
You know, and Brunson, I will say, had an incredible last game. I mean, the fact that like all of those points were him, pretty much. You know, he played a phenomenal last game, but I didn't feel he was incredibly consistent. He had a lot of turnovers in this series. Like, I didn't feel it always went his way. I understand why he got MVP, but quite frankly, I would have chosen OG. In my opinion, I think he is the person I would have picked for Finals MVP. I think if he would have had a stronger Game 5, I think that definitely would have happened for him, because that,
especially after Game 4.
Oh my God.
Heroics. Yes. Yeah.
That play is going to be showed in every finals montage from here until the end of time. Like that is.
We know.
But you know what? I'm not mad that it's OG. I think I'd be more mad if it was another player, but I really like him.
Okay.
So I'm going to let him have that. But you know, Karl Anthony Towns get nowhere in this series ever.
Nope.
Making the dumbest fouls ever. And, you know, some of them...
Got into bad foul trouble in Game 5. Yes, he did. And that almost cost them the game.
I will say, yeah, I think they probably could have let some of those go. I don't think that they all needed to be called. But, you know, I think the one thing that I will say about the reffing in this series is that I felt it was inconsistent between, okay, so you're going to let him play, but then you're not going to let him play. Like that go between we're going to let you manhandle each other, and then, oh, no, then we're going to call these things that, like, I'm kind of like, I don't know, you haven't been calling that all game. Like, I don't know why you're calling it now. To me, like, that's...
It seemed like the players felt the same way too.
But,
I think the players probably felt similarly to that.
You know, I'm going to say this in defense of Wemby, and I think I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, is that, are there some flagrants that should have been called? Yes. Not going to disagree with you on that. But Wemby is 7'5". And when he hits people who are a foot shorter than him, it's going to look like a flagrant, where if you were the same height,
gonna knock them in their face most time. Yeah.
So,
gonna knock them in their face most times.
And I don't believe he's malicious in that. That to me is not like Draymond Green will kill you and not feel bad about it, and will know that that's exactly what he's doing. That's not Wemby. Like, when everybody talks about Wemby being a dirty player, I'm like, have you seen? There are like 18
That's all I'm seeing. That's all I'm seeing post Game 5. That is all I'm seeing about Wemby. It's just crazy how like less than 2 weeks shifts the entire narrative of a player. Right? Like
I think that
he was America's hero after the Spurs beat OKC.
About that last week.
Yeah. And now it's like, I saw a comment today. It was like, oh, like Wemby really ruined his reputation this playoffs run. No. You guys loved him a week ago.
Yeah.
He could do no wrong. Although I did see somebody comment, this was one of my favorite comments, that French got fried. I thought that was pretty clever.
Right. Clever wordplay. We'll give that to you for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing I know about the Spurs. The Spurs are going to be back. Like, this not a question. Like, they're going to be on the warpath next year. I guarantee it. And the Knicks, live it up now, because I can tell you, I don't think you're going back. You're going to the playoffs next year. I think we could safely say that, but you're not going to go back to the finals. And I'll put I'll stand 10 toes in that. I mean, even given what I said this whole time, but I mean,
I had to eat my words, so I'm not gonna go there with the Knicks yet.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go there.
And
I'm gonna double down.
we spent a lot of time talking about what the Spurs did wrong to lose this final. So unfortunately, I'm gonna spend a little time here giving the Knicks some credit, because
let's give some flowers.
The Spurs didn't just lose this series; the Knicks took this series from the Spurs, and I do agree with you that OG probably would have been the MVP, at least in my opinion, for the series, because I mean, like, the defense on Jalen Brunson was great this entire series. Even in the last game, I thought their defense was pretty good. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. He found ways to score. He found ways to score. He took advantage of getting to the rim when Wemby wasn't in the game. He made tough shots. He made tough jump shots. He took that game over. I think the graphic that I saw was he scored 45 points and the rest of the team had 49 in total. Like, I mean, to do that in a closeout game on the road in the NBA Finals, I think that was enough to get him the MVP. And just what he means to that team, just in general. Yeah. And a lot of people wrote the Knicks off because Jalen Brunson is their best player, but he's a guard and he's too small and you can't win with a small guard. And he proved a lot of people wrong. And another thing that I was also proven wrong about was I thought Karl Anthony Towns had to be the second best player for the Knicks to be successful in any capacity, to get through any round of the playoffs, to get to the finals, through the finals. I was convinced it had to be Jalen Brunson 1A, Karl Anthony Towns 1B. Like, that's what I thought was going to be the formula to success for the Knicks. And OG Anunoby was their second best player.
Yeah.
Throughout this entire series.
For sure.
And he carried them in that game 4, hit big threes all throughout the game, threes that helped them get back into the game. Sorry. Obviously the huge tip in at the end, which if you're the Spurs, how the fuck is no one boxing him out in the end there? I understand he was the inbounder. He's the one that threw the ball in. I believe it was to Wemby to get that shot up, but you still got to know where everybody is on the court.
Crash the boards.
At that, you got to crash the boards.
Yeah.
And that's just unacceptable. But OG's going to go, that is, one of those things that's just going to get replayed. Yep. It's going to get replayed. This Knicks team will never have to pay for another meal in New York City for the rest of their lives. And let's just talk about New York City for a second, because I'm pretty sure we predicted that there would be some stuff going on, and I don't know. I've seen some crazy footage.
It definitely was cleaned up the next day. I mean, well done to the city of New York and everybody that helped make that cleaning possible. Yeah, there were some things on fire, I think, that I saw for sure. I did warn people that I knew in New York City that weren't necessarily basketball fans. I was like, just so you know.
Heads up, there's something going on
in Manhattan during this time.
You know who I do like? I obviously not a Knicks fan, but one thing I can appreciate about the Knicks is their coach, Mike Brown. So when they hired him in the offseason last year, like, I thought that was a great hire. So they got rid of Tom Thibodeau. They got rid of Tibbs. I think the biggest knock on Tibbs was that he didn't use his bench. Like, he ran his starters into the ground last year, and I think that fatigue definitely got to them in that series against Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers. And from the moment that Mike Brown got to this team, you could see he utilized his bench quite a bit. And I've always been a fan of Mike Brown. Like, he coached LeBron, took LeBron to the finals. He's a 2-time coach of the year. The Kings were a very, very bad team before he got on board with them. He took the Sacramento Kings to the playoffs for the first time, and I believe it was like almost 20 years. So I'm a big Mike Brown fan. I thought that was a really good hire for the Knicks in the offseason, and I'm glad, at least in that capacity, that I was right about something, because
Yeah.
I got a lot of hate for the Knicks, but I'll never hate on Mike Brown. I love him as a coach, and he's a player's coach for sure.
I mean, minus the annoyance I had with him complaining about the refs in the that was But I will say, game rotation and utilizing bench is key, and you can see where the Spurs failed at that. Game 4, Wemby played too much. And it's, and I think shocking to me, the one criticism I think that I really will give Wemby is, dude, you have to play more than 30 minutes. You have to be able to play more than 30 minutes. And there were times when he just looked so exhausted out on the court. And I'm like, dude, this is your job. You have to be able to make it at least 40 minutes. At least 40 minutes. You have to be able to play at full speed for 40 minutes. And I think they could have used, who's the Spurs coach? What's the Spurs coach's name?
Mitch Johnson, who I was just about to get into.
Mitch Johnson, who looks like an overgrown toddler, if I'm being cards on the table honest. Anytime I see him, that's what I think of. You have a toddler face and a grown man's body. I think his coaching was lacking in the moments that it needed to be strong. And I just think,
I think that both him and the Spurs showed their youth big time.
Yes.
And experience when it mattered most. So Mitch Johnson had his team ready every single game, right? And we could see that because they got out to big leads in every single game of this series. And they played great defense. The Spurs defense was not the issue, at least not early on in the games. But where Mitch Johnson faltered, especially in that huge collapse in game 4, is, my brother, you got to call some timeouts.
Yeah.
The Knicks go on this huge run. You have to stop that momentum. You can't keep letting them put the ball in the basket, coming back up court. Your team missed 8 threes in a row. At no point do you call timeout. At no point do you gather your team together and say, slow down. The clock is on our side. So I think he messed up big time there. And then you also made the comment that Wemby was out there too much during game 4, especially in a game that you're up by nearly 30 points. That is the time where you need to find pockets to sit him down so that when the Knicks are rallying back, you have Wemby to stop some of those runs in that moment. But
he's rested. He can go back.
That was the time where he was on the bench for a bit of that run because he was tired. He was gassed. Yeah, and then just the end of the game execution. You know what? Especially in game 5, and there was a layup. I can't remember how much time was left on the clock. It was under 2 minutes, though, I believe. It was a fast break. And Dylan Harper, I mean, he's a lefty, and he missed a left-handed layup that I saw him make the entire series. And at that point, I just knew the Spurs were done because they got nervous. I think they got a little bit shook, and I think the moment became too big for them. I think the moment became a little bit too big for Mitch Johnson in those moments. And you could just really see the inexperience and the youth. It seemed like every time the game got under 5 minutes, the Spurs just forgot their identity. They forgot what they did the first 40 minutes to make them successful. And
I knew in game 5 at 7 minutes, I was like, no.
As soon as the Knicks started making a run, and it's just no, you just knew the Knicks were going to make a run. There's no way that they were going to be down 15 the whole quarter. You knew that they were going to get it under 10. You just knew.
That's what I don't understand about coaching. I don't understand in those moments, which for people like me who obviously could I go coach a professional basketball team? No, I could not. I don't have enough knowledge of how to do that. But even I know, stop the clock.
You have to
break the momentum. This is not this is not rocket science to do this in a game. This is pretty standard protocol. To me, I just don't, those were, that was a moment, several moments where I was just like, I don't understand whatever you are hoping to accomplish is not going to be accomplished in this way. And I feel like you saw the first 2 games and how they played out. How did you not learn from coaching mistakes what needed to happen in that moment? Because players make mistakes and they know it and they're called out by their coaches, but it's like, dude, you are part of the reason for this loss. It's not all on the players. It's, it's not all on missed shots. It's you mismanaging the game. And I think
Absolutely.
that's something that, I mean, obviously, I don't think he'll be fired, but like certainly for next season,
No.
dude, like
No.
get it together.
But I mean, this is a lesson learned for him
Yeah.
for sure, and kind of feel bad for him. Because it's just like you're a young coach, but you can't make some of these mistakes that you made in these moments, unfortunately. And not a Spurs fan, but
No.
I can appreciate Greg Popovich. I watched that Spurs dynasty for a long time with Greg Popovich leading them. And I got a lot of respect for the Spurs, I will say, just with how that organization is run. I definitely got a lot of respect for them. So I hope to see them again in this position the next few years to come. They got a really, really good team. They got to figure something out at point guard. I don't know if De'Aaron Fox is the answer.
I understand.
I understand that De'Aaron Fox helped them get to the finals, but on the biggest stage, he did not look like the same player that we're used to seeing. And I actually saw, I believe it was Devin Vassell. He, in his post-game presser, he came out and actually said that Dylan Harper. Now, I don't know if this applies to the playoffs, but he said that Dylan Harper was a little bit upset about his playing time at some points. Now, I don't know if he meant throughout the season or specifically in this finals. But he said he was a little uncertain of his role at times. I think you got to solidify that for him because also, this brother is special.
Why are you opening your mouth about that?
Yeah, and it seemed like a comment. It seemed like it didn't. No, I agree, and it didn't seem like something that he said to stir the pot. It did just kind of seem like it kind of slipped out. But
training.
You know, the media is going to run with that, and they did because it was a post. Like that was the point of the post. That was the caption on it that Dylan Harper was upset with playing time. So.
Well, Fox is making too much money to be traded right now. I don't think anybody will take him.
Yeah, no, I don't see him getting traded.
But I definitely think Harper for sure next in line. I got a lot of confidence in him. I think he showed, I think out of all the people on the Spurs, I think he to me was the person who really stepped up when it was absolutely needed and it showed. So I hope next season only good things for him. And, for the Knicks, enjoy, be proud of yourselves. As you should be.
I got no ill words for you right now. I can't.
And, but to people that think, and you know who you are when I say this, that this goodness is going to hopefully rub off on the Mets, you got to be kidding. That ship has sailed. It's not a thing. I think the Yankees could take some of it and do well.
Oh, yes. And they have been. They've been playing really good. with no judge. So I'm impressed by what I'm seeing from them. Yeah. So that's exactly what I said. Let's hope that some of this New York championship mojo can rub off on them and they can bring a championship home too.
Well, listen, I mean, as much as I don't like the Knicks, like it happened and good for them and, wish you the best moving forward. Don't think you're going to come back to the finals next year, but I've been wrong before. So who knows? I could be wrong again. But I got to tell you, if Giannis comes to the Celtics,
you do realize they're going to have to trade Jaylen Brown in order for that to happen,
I have a lot of mixed feelings about this. Like,
they're definitely going to have to trade Jaylen Brown.
I know, but like, what if they didn't? And like, what if it was the three of them?
So what are you offering? What are you offering Milwaukee outside of
the entire rest of the team?
Well, that's one of their strengths, though, is how deep their team is. Like, you can't gut your team for Giannis. And you have a good team already. No. You don't want to gut your team for Giannis.
I actually don't.
Were you down on Giannis? Weren't you just down on? Yeah, let's talk about this. Yeah, let's talk about this.
I don't like this trade at all. I actually don't want it to happen. I like Jaylen Brown. I want him to stay. We do need a big man, but I think we can find that elsewhere. But Giannis, to me, you can't take away his greatness. He's a great player.
He's a champion.
He's a champion. But Giannis has had a lot of injuries. Giannis is not young. I do not want a bunch of money spent on a person that I don't even know if they're going to make it a full season. So it's going to be a pass for me. I love the idea, but I only love the idea if Jaylen Brown stays. And that's not a reality. So I'd much rather us not do it.
I really hope Jaylen Brown doesn't end up in Milwaukee either. Ugh.
Probably will. I don't think so. I think he'll go someplace. I think it'll be like a 3-team trade and he'll go someplace else. I don't know what'll happen with that, but I don't know. I mean, I really like him. I think Jaylen Brown has said some, like, why do people go on Twitch streams? I mean, that man's publicist must be losing their mind over just stuff like this all the time. I don't understand it.
Jaylen Brown strikes me as the type of person to not have a publicist. Because he's just
probably.
so like, you know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying when
Here's
I say
the thing.
that.
I think that not every thought you think has to be said out loud, much less on a Twitch stream. Everyone knows you're not happy with how things turned out. I don't think you need to say it out loud. We get it. You're not happy. But to that, I would also say, if you think that you want to be the show, wherever you go next, you want to be the star, because that's kind of the narrative, is that he thinks because, Tatum was out, that like now he kind of took over and felt, what it felt like to be that way, wants to go take that to another team. That's not all fucking sunshine and roses, just so you know. Like, Jordan never won without Scottie. There's a reason for that.
Right.
Jordan's the GOAT, but he needed a 2. Be the 2. There's nothing wrong with being the 2, especially if it elevates you to more championships. So I don't quite.
Is this you saying
that.
You don't think he can win a championship as the 1?
No, I don't think so.
That's interesting. So let me ask you a question. You don't think that if Jason Tatum had not returned this season, you don't think that Jaylen Brown could have led the Celtics to a championship?
No, but I don't think that that's solely on Jaylen Brown. I don't think they had the correct pieces to do that. You know what I'm saying?
They were number 2 in the East this year.
I know. You know what? And Ray, the Pistons were number 1. And what happened to them? Like, I just don't think in the end it wasn't strong enough. And I think you can only go so far on, holy shit, look at how well that team's doing. Like, I think that brand of goodwill can only go so far, that exceeding of expectations. So no, I don't think that I hate to make this comparison because I don't like it, but I feel the same way about Kyrie Irving. You won with LeBron because you were playing with LeBron. You won't win one without a much stronger player with you, because you're not strong enough to do it. I don't like it because I think Brown is better than Irving, but I think that Jaylen Brown can go to another team and play well for them and take them to playoffs? Yes, of course. I just don't think he can do it at the finals. But I do think that Jason Tatum can go to the finals without Jaylen Brown.
I don't know. I really don't.
I like them together. I like their chemistry. I like how they work well together. I think we need to. This isn't like a rebuilding year for the Celtics, but it is a year that we need to come together and find camaraderie, because I feel like that we just did not connect at all. We really fell apart in that series against Philly, and I feel like it was just because we really weren't connecting. It was so bad. So, like, obviously Giannis does have appeal. Like, I'm sure there are Celtics fans that are like, oh my God, this would be amazing. But I don't really want to give up Jaylen Brown for somebody who I don't know who can play for a whole season. I don't care if they're a champion or not. The only old person that I would take on the Celtics is LeBron. And I would be like, come on over, spend the last season with us. But
rumored that he's trying to work his way to the Warriors. Story for another day, but wouldn't be upset about that.
We've touched on that before.
Yep.
Listen, I think that that's fine. I'm not going to fault him for that. It might be if they went all the way to the finals, depending on who they played. If they played anybody but the Celtics, I could root for them. I could see myself rooting for Golden State, but
just not
only
Draymond.
Because of LeBron. Never Draymond, and only because of LeBron. And if LeBron for some reason is out and can't play, then I'm not rooting for them. Like, I'm only rooting for LeBron.
But he would still get a championship.
It doesn't matter. It feels hollow. I don't
still get a ring. Well, I will say, as far as the Giannis trade talks go, I mean, I would rather see him go to the Celtics just because that actually moves the needle for that team,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the other team that we keep hearing about is interested in trading for him, and the Miami Heat. Listen, if Giannis goes to the Heat, I'm not impressed by that. I'd
No.
really see no huge difference between him on the Heat and him currently on the Bucks.
Yeah, I agree.
And especially because, I mean, who's the Miami Heat's best player? I mean, Bam Adebayo, I guess. And then maybe Tyler Hero. But if you're trading for Giannis, I mean, Tyler Hero probably is going to be included in that trade.
Mm-hmm.
So Giannis goes to the Heat, and I mean, they're not a top 4 team. You got the Knicks. We got to still see how the Pacers look when Halliburton comes back.
Yeah.
You got the Celtics still. You got the Pistons. You got the Cavs, who aren't going anywhere. I mean, Philly, we saw them beat the Celtics in the first round series. I mean, that's 6 teams right there that I don't think that the Heat are going to be better than. So I just wouldn't really be impressed by that. Just as far as like entertainment wise, I'm not really a huge fan of that. Now, it'd be interesting to see what other kind of moves they make after that, but how much flexibility will they have after bringing on Giannis's contract? I don't know. But
you know what?
I think that's another big reason why Jaylen Brown has to be included in that trade, because I don't think they can handle the money from Tatum's contract, Giannis's contract, and Jaylen Brown's contract.
You know what I would love is if Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum said, we're gonna take a cut. We're going to take a cut to get Giannis here, and we're going to go for broke. Because I got to tell you, you can make so much more money doing endorsement deals, whatever you can do that way.
Well, not Jaylen Brown, but yeah.
Not now, not after Switch. But like, do those things, get your bag that way, take the cut, let him come, and then watch what the fuck happens. Because I guarantee you that group, that's tough to beat. That's a tough to beat group.
I know Knicks fans are going to get mad at this because they're 48 hours removed from a championship, but Giannis to the Celtics, I think, makes them championship favorites. Maybe not championship favorites, but favorites in the East. East, I would say.
Certainly a more competitive team, to go against the Knicks. Certainly that's there.
Right.
I mean, I think, listen, I think next year, I mean, we just have to see who kind of emerges, I think, in the East. But, I think you're looking at a stronger Celtics team next year, now that Tatum's going to consistently be back for the whole season. I think the Pistons, I hope they use what happened to them as motivation to come back stronger. I think, the Cavs, I mean, I don't really know. I think James Harden just got arrested a couple days ago. Who knows? And there's some other, the 76ers could come back and be,
and then let's not sleep
stronger,
on LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets, because post All-Star break, that was one of the best teams, not just in the East, but in the league. The Charlotte Hornets looked really good. And I was kind of upset that they lost in the play-in game, because I really wanted to see them go up against. I believe they would have played the Pistons if they had made it into the playoffs. So I don't see them as a top 4 or even 5 team, but I think they might be sneaky good next year, so where they won't have to play in a play-in.
Well, listen, I think we're going to see the NBA just get more competitive next year. I think a lot of teams are going to be out for blood to come back, who are pissed about how their seasons ended. I think Denver's one to watch out for, of course. I think the Timberwolves, Anthony Edwards is no joke and is not messing around. I think you're going to see OKC come back stronger. Maybe Sans, Chet Holmgren, although there hasn't been any indicators that he's on the chopping block, so perhaps that was premature for people to talk about. But
I don't think you break that up just yet.
Well, and then if LeBron goes to the Warriors, that changes the dynamic of that team, who has a new coach. Like, that's going to be a team to definitely watch. And then I just hope for you that your Brooklyn Nets do something.
We're a lottery team yet again. My hopes are not high. This just hurts to see the Knicks win the finals, because I just didn't think I'd see that in my lifetime. I really didn't. It just never was on my like radar. It was just like every year we just know the Knicks are going to lose. Like there was never a thought in my head that I would ever see the Knicks win a championship. And now that's like slowly bleeding into Brooklyn, man. Slowly bleeding into
You know
the
what
net.
though? I mean, I thought that maybe eventually they might win something. I didn't think they were going to win it this year, but I thought maybe.
Right.
But, but I'll tell you, I think we can safely say the Jets aren't going to go to the Super Bowl. So if you need something to believe in, the Jets are going to suck.
Anything to put money on, put it on.
The Jets are going to be terrible.
Being bad.
Well, that's going to do it here for us at the Rundown. We'll talk to you next week.
Go Knicks.
Ew, God, no.
They earned it. They earned it.
I don't care. No. Congrats. That's as far as I go. Go Knicks. Who are you right
now? Go
Knicks.
You got to listen. When you're wrong, you got to own it. And
I said I was wrong. That doesn't mean I need to encourage them to do
go Knicks.
well. No. Congratulations.
Go New York. Go New York. Go. No?
When does football start? Hope for this. All right. Later, guys.
I need October.